Well, while you're out on bond in March of 2009, you get a call that your parents' house just got raided by the DEA.
Mm-hmm.
And your dad gets arrested.
They took him in, but they didn't detain him. So it's like they raided him. He didn't get charged with nothing. They took him in like for questioning, and then he got released.
Okay, but now he's facing charges as well.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Nope.
Okay, so what happens next?
Nothing. See, what the feds did was, I guess, like, so I think they kind of like, even with my son's father, they try to do that to me. Like, they start questioning Magic about my dad when he was in custody. Like, oh, so you're, we know her dad, Charles Davis. We know you was working with her dad. And he's like, dude, that's a granddad. Like, I never did nothing with that man, because he had called me from jail and told me, like, yo, these dudes down here asking about Pops, you know? Like, I don't know what they asking about Pops for. I told him, basically, like, that man is a granddaddy. I ain't never did no business with him and something like that. So it's like with the feds, they looking at me like I always mess with the top dope dude. So they feel like my dad is always going to be a piece to that puzzle because of me. You know what I'm saying? So they were really just fishing at the time. So they released him. But usually, if anybody know how the feds work, if they come raid your house, they got information. They just waiting to get you. So my dad's not slow. So he started preparing himself, you know what I'm saying, for what was to come as far as retaining an attorney and things like that. My dad didn't get indicted until January. That January.
Okay. Got it. Okay, because on May 11th of 2009,
I was in prison.
Yeah, you turn yourself in and you got a 9-year sentence.
9 to 20. Mm-hmm.
9 to 20. But then the feds try to get you for a different charge.
The conspiracy with my father.
The conspiracy. Exactly. Right. And that's when your father was charged and got indicted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then around that time, JT got hit with a drug conspiracy charge
out
in
of Chicago,
dealing with some high-ranking members of a drug cartel.
Mm-hmm.
And then he became an informant.
Yeah, he did some stuff out there with them people out there where he was at. Yeah.
Okay. And I guess with JT's cooperation, half of the top guys in Chicago got taken down.
See, the thing is, I got people from there. So I just hear stories because I was in jail. I'm not from there. But I have a good friend that was his co-defendant, and he came to his sentencing and got on the stand at our friend's sentencing to try to get him more time to get time taken off his sentence. So he was around there just doing whatever he was, I guess, to try to minimize his time that he was facing.
Right, but he implicated your 67-year-old father.
Mm-hmm. That's what put the pieces of the puzzle together.
Right, as well as you. So he cooperated against you.
Yep.
How did that feel to have this guy cooperate against you and your father?
I felt more so by my dad. Like with me, I'm the type of person, I'm kind of a realist. So I kind of knew after everything that I was going through, the situation I put myself in. But when it came to my father, it just hit a little different. You know what I'm saying? Because my father's intention wasn't never to deal with that person. So I kind of felt like I took the blame, because I felt like if I never bring this man around, my daddy wouldn't have never got in trouble. So I felt like I brought trouble into my family. So when my dad got indicted, it made me feel bad, not for myself, but more so for my father, because I feel like I brought this person around that, kind of tore my family apart.
I mean, what ultimately happened to JT? Did he have to serve time? Or
yeah, he served time. He ended up getting 13 years. He'll be home soon. I think he comes home like in the next 2 years, maybe.
So with all that cooperation, he still got 13 years.
Yep, he got 13 years.
Did you ever speak to him after that or communicate in any type of way?
No. Nope.
Okay. So now you and your dad are facing all this time, and ultimately you guys both decided to take a plea deal.
Yeah.
And you got 10 years?
Yep, and he got 8.
He got 8.
Yep.
And he was he 67, 68 at the time?
Yeah, he was around that age at the time. And what's crazy was around that time, I was still incarcerated fighting my charges. He was out and he was sick and nobody told me. My dad had got diagnosed when he was fighting his case, early stage dementia. You know, that's like a form of Alzheimer's, you know, affects your brain. So he was supposed to go to a medical facility when he first got locked up, and they sent my dad to USP Virginia in West Virginia. So when he was there, he wasn't getting the proper medical treatment. His health declined a lot while he was incarcerated. My mama fought, I can tell you, my mama fought tooth and nail, and eventually he did get sent to a medical facility in Minnesota. But after 3 years of incarceration, his health really, 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 really declined. And the social work at the prison had told my mom to put in paperwork for him to get the compassionate release. And what that is in a federal system, they have something called the compassionate release. So if you have a debilitating disease that progressively gets worse and doesn't get better, you can file for that for you to go home for the remainder of the little time that you have left here on this earth. Because they don't want to pay for your medical expenses. You know, they don't want to do that. So they'll let you go home to your family, you know, for them to take care of you for the little bit of time you had left. And that's what they did to my father.